And I don't have a stamp, and I should get a stamp. I mean, I sign my name.
Yeah, I know, I did,
And sometimes, well, on payroll,
yeah.
I did it yesterday afternoon. That's what I thought about doing. But then Todd and I both have to sign on the same line, and that stamp would cover everything. Yeah.
Brenda, do you know when the 911 contract will be for next year?
Maureen,
I think it's the only one I don't have yet, so like, if you get that on the agenda. so
We did the amendment, and then you have it for October, right, or whenever?
But that's the one that goes into effect in January,
Yeah,
so
I mean, you can put it on whatever. It's sitting in my.
it's the last one I'm waiting for. Then I can get it on the city council agenda.
I'll just, I'll put it on for next week then.
let's make him,
It's in that-
Yeah. let's make him wait.
What now?
It's just the last one I'm waiting.
One guy wrote on there sometime in whatever.
We're good for it.
Yeah. You're already on it.
We're good for it.
Oh, yeah.
Just wait. Patience.
Hurt you.
I have to excuse myself from that conversation. I mean, I can be part of the conversation, it's not.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, no, on that. I thought you meant patient.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to be incriminated.
I tried that once, it didn't work very well.
Got a minute.
Yeah.
Instead of the recorder.
Oh,
Yeah, the recorder's not running.
I'm just daydreaming.
I'm just,
After being off for a few days, that's really happy.
yeah, I was getting like, did I miss the agenda? I don't, and it's like, oh no, there's Thursday, Friday off, nothing's happening. Oh.
And I thought I sent that too, but it was hanging there.
So I was like, I'll just wait a little bit. She'll have it.
I gave the nudge.
Oh.
I thought I sent it.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting of the Codington County Commissioners to order. If you'd please rise, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Troy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, if there's a need for public comment, you can do it in person or at the numbers 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. And if you have a cell phone, if you could please silence it. And if you need to take a call, we'd appreciate it if you do it in the hall. Number 3, is there any conflict of
No.
interest?
No.
Okay. Item 4, need a motion to approve the July 9th agenda.
Second.
Motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Number 5, we need a motion to approve the July 2nd meetings of the Codington County
So moved.
Commissioners.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Is there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 6. If we could, we're gonna be opening the bids for the 2024 County Road 20 reconstruction project.
Morning.
Morning.
Help. Rick. Brenda. That needs to be signed by you. Yeah.
Okay. First one we have is J&J Earthworks, Inc.
Thank you, Rick. So the First item to address is there was one addendum issued to clarify the specifications for one of the items on the project. And so we like to ensure that the bidders acknowledge that there was an addendum, so that's incorporated in their bid. J&J has acknowledged that there's an addendum on their bid form. They did provide a bid security in the form of a bid bond. J&J's base bid for the Codington County Road 20 reconstruction project is $754,220.25. That's $754,220.25. The bid for bid alternate A, $372,110.00. $372,110 and no cents. And the bid for bid alternate B is $608,900.00. That's $608,900 and no cents.
Okay, the second one is Clausen and Son Construction.
Clausen and Sons did acknowledge the addendum on the bid form, provided bid security in the form of a bid bond. And Clausen and Sons base bid is $604,223.15. That's $604,223.15. Bid alternate A, $341,515.00. That's $341,515.00. Bid alternate B, $568,230.00. That's $568,230.00.
Okay, it looks like the next one is from Dunick Inc.
Gotta get these back together quick. Well. Dunick did acknowledge the addendum on their bid form, provided bid security in the form of a bid bond. Dunick's base bid is $1,251,829.53. That's $1,251,829.53. Bid alternate A, $363,305.00. That's $363,305.00. Bid alternate B, $724,630.00. That's $724,630.00.
Contract.
I bet you're right. Dunick as well.
Yep,
That's Steve's, I think.
Yep, that's the parking lot contract. Okay, so that concludes the three bids received for the Codington County Road 20 reconstruction project from J&J Earthworks, Clausen and Sons Construction, and Dunick Incorporated. We'll take the bid forms and ensure that all of the math extends out to from the unit prices to the correct total prices, and then provide the county a summary of the bids, as well as discuss with Rick as far as the recommendations moving forward.
can you just review what the two alternates are?
Yes, so bid alternate A, in putting together to the design of this project, we took some soil borings of the in situ soils out there. And in knowing that some of the roadway would need built up, as well as some of the ditches cut out a little wider. We wanted to identify what the properties of the soils were. And so in doing so, the geotechnical engineer provided two different recommendations for subgrade preparation. One of them was using a geotextile separator fabric and then 10 inches of base course in preparation for future paving. And then the other was to import additional embankment material and then cement stabilize with 6% Portland cement concrete composition pavement and then install 4 inches of base course on top of that. So and so that's what the bid alternate A and bid alternate B was.
Is fabric.
Correct.
And that's part of the reason why we're redoing this road, because there's some bad, really bad spots on this section of road. Randy's used it, he knows what it is.
Soggy, soft.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, we'll just wait to hear from you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all very much.
Will you have a recommendation by next week?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, item 7. Action to approve plat resolution, Masonburg edition. Luke, if you want to come up.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Today, you've got a plat for Masonburg Edition in the northeast quarter of section 36. Township 118, range 53, if memory serves, that's Rockville Township.
Yep.
What we've got here is basically, I'm gonna say just a split up on an estate and a couple of owners involved here. Simply put, the Board of Adjustment issued a farmstead exemption to allow a 5-acre lot at the site of uses of basic farming operations prior to 1976. It's complicated a little bit by the fact that this is over the course of, I'm gonna say late 70s, early 80s. It was expanded a little bit to have a couple of farm family members out there with houses. And so they're just trying to clean up how to do that. We all tried to put our heads together to do so. So what they've got is 4 lots. One is a 5-acre lot around basically the original house. And then they've got 2 35-acre lots that go around each of the other 2 houses. And then the 4th lot, which is actually lot 3, sorry to be confusing. Lot 3 is more, it's the farm buildings. And they are under the understanding that until that particular 3rd lot is owned by someone who's got more land, there are no building permits that can be issued to that property. But the fact is, they're just trying to work this out from a state standpoint. The only other thing that's relevant that I think is important for you to be aware of is that there is this is an oddity because there are 3 houses in the same quarter. The board and has a history of allowing that as long as someone signs off, they own the other quarter and a different quarter that is adjacent to it and say, we promise not to build on this one. This is our house for that particular quarter. So that's what they're doing. Bottom line is, there's a rather extensive letter of assurance going with it that we're doing on the basis of the board's decision. Long story short, Planning Commission recommended approval with several conditions on a letter of assurance to verify that we are still following our intent with the 35-acre rule in quarter. So recommended for approval.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable. Is there any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, thank you all.
Yep, thanks, Luke.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, we're gonna move down to number 8, our monthly reports. We'll start with the community health nurse, Cody.
Good morning.
Good morning again, Cody.
Okay, so I sent in a couple of different forms. One is stats that would be from April, May, and June, and then other one is just written report. As you can see on the stats, things continue to stay steady in the office. The number of cribs that are issued, car seats that are issued, they stay pretty consistent. We did have an increase in the developmental screenings we did as of June. We just kind of revamped a little bit of the workflow throughout the office, so that's helped with that. Immunization rates stay steady. June and July, we always see a little bit of a drop just because people are out for summer and school's not in session and things like that. We have ordered already for the months coming of August, and then we'll continue to track that as we go into schools. We have 2 school clinics, one at the Watertown 6th grade and one in Florence, that will be able to go to their open houses and provide immunizations before the kids start schools, so. Kaya finished all of her training, so both of the nurses, myself and her, are completing all full, services in the office. We did kindergarten roundup, at the Watertown, elementary on April 4th and 5th and provided immunizations to children who weren't compliant for school yet. And then, like I said, we will be returning on August 19th to Watertown and then August 15th to Florence as well. Our overall immunization coverage rate, these are for kids that are claimed to our clinic. So if they normally receive immunizations in our office, has increased from 74% in April up to 84% in June. So, and that's quite a few kids, and that means that they are fully immunized. So we have seen a good increase with that. Maternal health, we partnered, or the Department of Health and the Department of Social Services partnered together with Sanford Clinic currently and created a pregnancy health home program. So we're able to work alongside the doctors a little bit more closely. The doctors highly encourage all of their pregnant women who are on Medicaid to come and receive our services through our pregnancy care program, which we serve all throughout their pregnancy and then postpartum as well. Our school services have been scheduled for 4 out of our 5 contracted schools already. So those are already done and scheduled all the way through fall, along with their flu clinics if they're wanting to do a flu clinic. Otherwise, I continue to go to interagency meetings. I went to kids care that the 4-H put on and taught on nutrition for youngsters. So I went and did that as well. Questions?
Good.
Can I do my budget right now? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Is that okay?
yes, yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, budget submitted, salary increase, just went with the step increase along with the additional 4%, that was decided by the department heads, and then the longevity bonus. Insurance was figured with a 10% increase for health insurance and dental insurance. I just continued to figure the cost of rent, for line 424. 425, I asked again for $800 for any repairs. We still do have a few things in the office that the county owns, like a printer, and a few other like filing cabinets and things like that that I put in there just for coverage. Nurse supplies, I left at $1,000, which was the same as for last year. We continue to use that money for our breastfeeding baskets that we put on for August, which is National Breastfeeding Month. We did just update all of the chairs in our, all of this health professionals room. So we got some padded, comfortable chairs with arms that guests have been enjoying much better. We're looking into some new toys in like the waiting room and both the waiting room in the front and the back. Ours are becoming, after wiping continuously, the vinyl's kind of sticky and coming off of, so we're looking into updating some of those. We also use the money for stickers and suckers for after immunizations, and then anything that we need for some of our school services like puberty, deodorants, things like that. And then I did add in travel, just for Sarah to come potentially needing her help for flu clinics. And then there's one regional meeting that she would travel to as well, just to cover for like, lunches and things. We would be taking state vehicles, so none of that. But just any additional, lunch coverage for when she would be out of the office. So. Questions?
What were we using for the salary increase? What percent?
4%, the step increase, and then the 4%, for the COLA, and then her longevity bonus.
All right.
Yep. And that's just for, Sarah's, just for the public health side of it.
It's good.
Okay,
Yes. Yes,
you.
thank you.
okay, Sean, if you wanna come up.
Good. Hi, Shauna.
Okay, so I don't really have much to report. Our appraisal staff is still out working on the reappraisal. The office staff is continuously working on sales splits, transfers, new plats. I'm excited that we are finally going to be fully staffed starting next Monday. Our new appraiser will be starting. And so now hopefully I can get caught up on some of my work since I've been going out with the girls the last couple months. But that's all I really have.
Budget, do you?
I'm ready.
Yep, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. My budget went up approximately 2.7% around this year, mainly because since I started over with 2 new employees, that kind of went down. But as far as everything else, we put in a 4% employee pay raise with a 10% on the health insurance and the dental insurance. Otherwise, any increases were just due to the cost going up. Like travel and conference, hotels are going up. All of our contracts that we have with our professional services, they're all going up a little bit. But we're not adding anything or really taking anything away. And so with the 10% insurance and the 4% employee raise, we're going up a little under 3% total.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions?
Or if you want me to go through it line by line, we can. There's
That
just not-
bottom line is 888-520, right?
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep.
Looks pretty straightforward.
sorry, did I go too fast?
No, it's good.
Not much changing. That's it.
Looks good.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Um. Let's
We'll
just
make
go,
it tougher next time.
and why don't you, skip ahead.
She won't get upset with me.
No, no,
I
no.
snuck ahead of her.
We'll run interference.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, does everybody have my little breakdown?
You gotta do budget first?
Yep,
Okay,
that's basically what I have.
gotcha here.
Pretty much a repeat of Shauna. We figured the 4% pay raise increase, 10% on both health and dental. So looking at my bottom portion of that, I did decrease I'm looking at the wrong one.
Your supply.
Yeah, decreased on the supplies, decreased a little bit on the travel, and then on the postage and stuff. We are kind of seeing a little bit more increase in our electronic recordings. So that kind of helps on postage. We're not mailing back documents.
Otherwise, I mean, basically the only increase I'm doing is wage increases. Or the,
So the health insurance down a little bit.
yeah, but we went with the 10%.
Right.
Yeah. And Jackie isn't. Let me look here.
And again, that
We'll
bottom
get to
line
that.
is 438.
Yeah, because Jackie
628.
doesn't take health insurance.
Oh,
So that's, I'm sorry,
Yeah, the bottom line is 438, 628.
correct.
With me. Yep, looks
Any
good.
questions?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, also with our M&P, which is that modernization preservation fund that we have, that those fees go into.
What is that under in our book here, Brad?
250.
Should be maybe right, is it with her?
Should be right after.
Oh.
If not,
Cause I budgeted for 140. And I don't have the M&P on that one.
maybe it's not, maybe she can get it in.
It's on the screen.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep,
Yeah,
You- you-
there you go.
that's it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Page,
It's
Yeah.
big on back there.
Yeah.
We go ahead. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Google goggles.
So in that one, I mean, it's kind of just depending on what comes up. You know, so budgeting for what's kind of in there, so in case something does come up, we can spend out of that.
So where does the fund, excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Where does the money come from for this?
Recording fees,
Okay. so it's
$5,
just- and it's
yeah.
just earmarked straight for,
yep, it's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
for the registered deeds,
Okay.
it can't be used in the
Right.
general fund.
Right.
Yep. And specific to what it can be used for within that fund.
Why is there such a decrease on line 422? $180.
Well, and I have spent money out of there, so basically. There's like 140 something in there right now,
Oh, okay.
because money has been spent from the
Oh,
previous
okay.
year.
It,
yeah.
it was a fund that was built and then it goes down. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get it in my head.
Yep.
to-
yep. Because basically with our recording fees are $30 for a document. So $5 of that is for the M&P, so it's for your modernization preservation. $3 of it initially stays with the county. And then $2 gets sent to the state. And our year runs till the end of August. At that time, the state distributes evenly with the 66 counties. That money comes back to us. So that's split, so that's where that fund, and it just keeps growing if you're not using it.
and the bulk of this fund is used to
To preserve.
modernize the records.
Yeah, preserve and,
Electronic,
yep, I mean, it can be used for travel supplies,
okay,
things like that. Mhm.
very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Now we'll bump back up to Carol if you want to come up.
No, I was. Sitting back, didn't want to-
We just shook the dice and it came out that way, so.
That's all right.
Are you just passing through?
Yeah. Okay.
Carol, you gonna hit that button there? Yep, there you go.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Here to discuss budget like everybody else, and we got it up on the screen. Perfect. On the top half of our report, basically, the increases are based on, I'm assuming, a 4% COLA. That's all up the negotiation. I have enough. That's just a plan. The other thing, I'm anticipating insurance increase of 10%. dental insurance, an increase of 10%. On the supplemental line, I'm making the assumption that all of my employees would go for the maximum match for the 457. It's free money, you'd sort of think they would, but
I hope so.
yep. As you read more retirement account stories, it's always start early. So basically what I'm assuming is the budget for the wages and personal services section is gonna go up about $30,000 roughly. And the bottom for the other expenditures, I tried to stay as close to where I was. The only exceptions were, if you look at line 426, that's just because expenses are going up. The other line you're gonna notice a change to is 42610. That's treasurer's motor vehicle supplies. What happens is we get 1/4 of 1%. It's like her modernization and preservation account. The idea is the state used to send us a lot of things that they don't do anymore. We're going more and more online. It's more and more our responsibility. That account, I went up from 5,500 up to 9,500. That's actually a funded account. We have that amount of money coming in. I've just never leveraged the whole amount. So that's the reason for that change. And the biggest reason I made that change is starting in February next year, they're going to change our motor vehicle system. And yes, this time it's really going to happen. Unlike last time where I said, starting in 2 weeks, they're going to roll it out. And then they said, no. It's called 605 Drive. They've got it. It's a product that a company already has developed and sold to other states. They're just going to they're in the process of tweaking it for the state of South Dakota. There's going to be some computer equipment purchases that have to be made. They want us to be able to scan documents right at the time we're waiting on our customers.
Yeah.
And then,
This does kind of sort of.
yes, exactly. So I'm anticipating that we're going to have to replace, but there is supposedly, and I've heard that there's equipment that will scan and do printing for you, which we're going to need because on our counters, space is at a premium. So it's not like I can make space for a separate unit. So
What is covered under that 42610? Since we're seeing an increase, I mean, as I would read that, I would think that that's like motor vehicle for the treasurer.
right, it's specifically for motor vehicle related type expenses. So it'll cover like my computers, it'll cover my printers, it'll cover my print cartridges, which
Okay.
are phenomenal.
So that's for this equipment that you might need all
It's
under.
for equipment, not actual motor vehicle costs, like oil changes.
Oh, no,
sort of
sorry,
thing.
yeah.
The
no,
way it's worded, it's.
Right, it's
So-
for that specific process that we do
Got it.
in our office.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, then that makes sense for the increase then.
yeah. Yeah. And then, other than that, changes are being made to reflect what my actual expenses are. Like travel and conference, hotel rooms are going up. On my treasurer's utilities, my estimate went down $2,100. And that's because last year when I was doing my utilities, I was estimating the cost of our phones that we were going to be paying for that. And our pal Steve is picking that up in his budget. So that never rolled out onto me. And then the last one is current expenditures. I went up on that one, $1,200. That's pretty much where my postage comes out of and that type of thing. But, so that's what I got for you.
It's great.
So what's the new just to, Mr. Chair, it's not really.
Yep.
More a process question.
Yep.
So with this new system that the state's talking about, the vehicle registration, is that pushing most stuff online, or is that just making it so it's just more the process at the counter is quicker with all the scanning equipment, et cetera?
Well, I think it's time to replace the system that we got in 2008. The their confidence level in it is not that great. It's time to go to a different. I mean, if you show up on a Friday or show up at the end of the month, you're gonna be, it's not that we're slow at doing what we do, it's we're waiting for the computer to catch up. So it was just time to make
Okay.
some changes for an improvement, and that's the reason behind it.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Thank you,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Mr. Chair. If I could just add one thing that, one thing that I'm consistently seeing in these budgets is they're not excessive. They're staying in line year after year, and we appreciate that. That's just good budget management, and I don't think we're seeing any really large increases so far in what we've seen, so. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
To the department heads.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're up to the auditor.
All right, I will do my monthly report first.
Okay,
You can leave it out because it won't take too long. Work continues on the 2025 provisional budget. Taxable values are being prepared for the levy work for the taxes payable in 2025. And preparation for the 2024 general election ballot will begin in August. So we barely get done with one and we roll into another. I can say after the 4 recounts that were completed, there were no changes at all. So our tabulators do work and the process is also a good process. The cost of the county though, for those recounts was $1,459.55. So that's the only thing that
What was that number again?
it was $1,459.55.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is all I have for my report. Moving on to my budget, I have an explanation sheet in there as well. It shows the 4% increase for the different employees. And then of course your social security, retirement, all that, health insurance, 10% increase for both the health and dental. Overall, so when you get down to the professional services part, I did increase my software support 1,000 because I don't know how those will come in this year, just to be safe. The one thing that has been typically done, the servers for the county, the servers for the entire county, I put those in my budget. So this year, that's a $40,000 increase to my budget because of that reason. The other ones I've kind of just increased 1,000, some I've just left the change. Postage left the same. Postage, I did increase that as well. Overall, my budget did increase, but from last year, 37,155, which is a 9%, due largely to the 4% increases, step increases, and then that $40,000. So if I wouldn't have had that, I would have been under last year's budget actually, but because of that, it puts me up there. So
What will be the real advantage of you having all of them in that $40,000 increase there?
Cindy
there-
just
is there-
said it has to come out of someone's budget, so she always just did it. So,
Rather than individual budgets.
yeah. So it's just one of those things.
Simplifies.
Yeah, right. Otherwise you have, how you try to figure that out. So it's just one of those things.
How often are those servers replaced?
So I think 6 to 7, yeah, somewhere in there. It's just, we're getting to the end of that lifespan, I think. Yeah, 5 to 7, 6. Yeah.
I get in on this discussion a little bit. They try to go more virtual servers and to minimize the number of physical servers.
Yeah.
It's all the
Mhm.
same.
Yeah.
So it's just time to upgrade, keep everything secure. Also, then in my election, I might as well do the election budget as well. Now that might be at the very beginning. Under the mandates, look at the very first one under this tab. Is that election?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the very first sheet at the very beginning of your book where it's under mandates. I don't know why it's there, but it is. Without it being an election year, there was some things that were able to come down, but it still kept some of it somewhat the same because we don't know what happens if there's something that would fall in. So decrease overall, but a little more than it was in 2022. So that's all that I have.
Anybody got any questions for Brenda or? Okay. We'll move down to number 10.
Okay.
Action to approve auditor's account with treasurer and note monthly registered of deeds fees.
All right, so you have that auditor's account with the county treasurer. It tells what the balances were at the last day in June 2024, cash on hand, total assets, that all balances out. Also, what went to the custodial funds, the schools, townships, city and towns, that's what's apportioned to them out of all of those amounts. And then the monthly registered deeds fees was $33,866.60.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable. Second by Waterman. To approve these fees for the month. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Item 11, action to accept letter of resignation from state's attorney Rebecca Morlock Reeves. And you should have a copy of that.
Yep.
Letter in here.
Move to approve.
So moved. Motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
No abatements.
Number 13, action to approve claims for payment.
Okay, I highlighted a few things. I did again, the very beginning on page 1, the recount costs the $1459.55. Page 3, court appointed attorney. That one is not in good shape. So we had $101,462.85 left after our claims of $62,077.42. Our remaining amount in our court appointed attorney is $39,385.43. I will need to talk to Rod, and I've talked to Cindy about this. You know, do we deplete the commissioner's contingency, or can we run, you know, in the negative till the end of the year? I need to have that conversation with him so that we need to know.
Mr. Chair, just on that one. So that one of those, two of our trials are on the clerk claim
Yep.
for the next clerk meeting later this month. So clerk is the catastrophic legal expense reimbursement program. Those are pretty hefty sums. And so that will help.
Yeah.
So you might want to ask when you talk to Rod about, you know, I'll talk to the clerk folks and see how quickly this, if
Yes.
it's approved, how quickly the reimbursement would take place.
that's
So
I had that down here that we do have 2 clerk claims in. Also did receive a letter from the state treasurer, you know, in 2024, the legislature passed the bill where the counties, they will have $3 million to distribute. I'm gathering that information now to send that in, and then they will distribute out some of those funds to the counties. I don't know how they're going to.
Yeah, indigent legal expenses is
So we'll get some back in there, but I don't know if it's gonna cover the
Yeah.
whole year. But work in progress, but yeah, that's a budget that's.
So we're working on trying to figure out what that CAA budget's gonna be. I mean, the court
Yeah.
appointed attorney budget, so that's a separate budget page in them.
Mhm.
And so,
So yes, trying to figure out what we need to budget for that for next year.
but you know, if the clerk claim comes in, I mean, that's why we pay for the clerk.
Yeah.
And the premiums are gonna go up as a result of that, of course. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll give these folks a call, so.
Right. So we do have those in waiting to hear, and yeah, I don't know when they make those.
Well, the meeting's July 2nd.
I think we looked
So
previous years, you might get a payment like in August.
yeah, that's.
it's pretty quick turnaround if that's the case.
Yeah, we turned it in.
These claim packets, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's boxes. I mean,
I'm
Yeah.
big
sure.
full boxes of. It's worth the, I mean, that's why you have clerk.
Yeah.
When you have these bigger claims that you can't anticipate, so.
Yeah.
So overall then, we also had that bigger amount to the HVAC project in government buildings, that payment. $498,000, so anyway, total bills in was 1.616, 183.43. The state passed through dollars, those was $641, 114. $641,114.60. So overall, the bills for the county is $975,068.83.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen to approve the claims for payment. Any other questions?
Just can I just point out?
Yep.
So the very first one, our budget was, Mr. Garnis's, that's some of that consulting money for the jail project. So that $4,760. It's consultation dollars are.
The whole budget's under $1 million.
Yeah.
Those Claims are under $1 million.
Looks a little better than last month's.
Yeah.
We do have the 911 also, but you have to vote still on the first one.
Yep. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so we also have the 911 surcharge that it's passed through to the city of Watertown in for the May 2024 period, and that amount is $23,753.55.
Mr. Chair, I will be recusing myself from this vote.
Thank you. Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No budget supplements.
Okay. Number 15, action to approve personnel changes. There's a stack.
Yep, it's that time of year for all the step increases. We do have one though that I'm going to single out is for the Thomas Polly, that appraiser 2 position. He was a new hire, but the vacation accrual is 8 hours a month for the first per employee policy manual 8.2. So just so you know, that's a little bit separate. The rest now are step increases. Stephen Lowry, deputy sheriff, goes to step 8, 56.96.76 a month. Chandler Flowers, deputy sheriff, step 3, 5,035.56. Travis Gutzmer, deputy sheriff, step 8, 56.96.76. Shane Yost, deputy sheriff, step 4, 51.60.84. Gavin Wright, deputy sheriff, step 6, 54.23.58. Adam Reeves, deputy sheriff, step 10, 59.85.60. Russell Matthews, deputy sheriff, step 11, 61.35.24. Trevor Schimmel, deputy sheriff, step 9, 58.39.44. David Curtis, court security, step 5, 47.65.86. Dakota Dodds, deputy sheriff, step 3, 50.35.56. Jared Olson, deputy sheriff, sergeant, step 6, 62.62.26. Scott Polsky, deputy state's attorney, step 2, 68.81.70. Barry Leeford, administrative specialist, step 2, 4,022.88. Katie Mose, administrative specialist, step 4, 4,226.46. Jamie Monson, legal records specialist, state's attorney's office, step 8, 5,131.26. Christina Solom, administrative support, step 5, 3,751.44. Grant Wonder, deputy state's attorney, step 3, 7,053.96. Jody Pearson, payroll specialist, auditor, step 8, 5,131.26. Cindy Feldmeyer, account administrator, auditor's office, step 2, 4,426.56. Brenda Hanton, auditor, step 3, 7,053.96. Morgan Cunningham, administrative support, step 2, 3,483.48.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sir, number 16, any travel requests?
No travel.
Okay. Number 17. Public notice, possible quorum of commissioners.
Government affairs tomorrow.
I think there's anything that we need to know. Okay, moving down to 18, any old business? Seeing none, is there any new business? Okay, number 20, now is the time for the open. If there's anyone that would like to have time for public comment. Any commissioner comments?
Mr. Chair, just real quick, so, the Sarah, Faust and Stacy Hendricks from Codington, so they're cutting community services and both just working on that grant that we discussed a couple weeks ago, each and the grant. Just to let you know, they put in a lot of work on that. It's a very complicated grant application. So the due date, we already approved the submission of it, but the due date they had to submit was yesterday. So just a shout out. Yeah, just a shout out that they worked very hard on putting that together. It's a pretty complicated piece of paper, a lot of pieces of paper actually, so.
It's $1 million grant.
Yeah. Yeah. And what, just to let people know, just, I mean, the idea is to, you want to reduce recidivism, it's, substance abuse reduction, those kinds of things that, hopefully will keep people out of the justice system. For the long run, or keep them from returning to the justice system. So that's
Yes.
the idea.
Thank you for the update, Commissioner Gable. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, number 21, we have a need to go in executive session under number 1.
Personnel.
Personal.
Move to go into executive session.
There,
I'll second.
okay, motion by Johnson, second by Gable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, okay, when we're done with that, yep.
Let me know.
Will there be action after?
I have one question.
Think so.
Where does the state's, 60 assistance?
Okay, well, I know who